Whoa.
Hey guys, and welcome to episode 1 for 2020 of Chasing Greatness. You were joined with Philip.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come in.
It's your boy Zach.
And special guest,
Alyssa!
Alyssa. Couple icebreaker questions for you.
Hit me.
First question.
Yep.
Tell us about yourself. What do you do? What else? What's your favorite color? I don't know. Just tell us about yourself.
My name's Alyssa.
Yep.
I'm 21 years old.
Ooh, 21.
I
21.
study at USyd.
Let's go.
Yeah, wow. What are you studying?
I'm studying Bachelor of Science, majored in psychology.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, that sounds so weird to say. I work at a clothing store. And shout out to Inku. And
Yeah, wow.
I'm a youth leader at FCF.
Oh,
Center,
nice.
Yeah,
YG.
nice.
Youth
Nice.
Leader
Represent.
Represent FCF.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Alright, Alyssa, so what do you know about Chasing Greatness?
I guess as you guys, as the organization or like image, I guess it's all about just bettering yourself
Yep.
day by day. I guess literally the phrase chasing greatness, it's like have your definition of what greatness is and
Yeah.
then aspire to be that and aspire to go for it. And
Yeah.
so I love that you guys are kind of like bringing ordinary people and really drawing out the greatness in them and
Yeah.
how they pursue greatness in their day to day. So yeah.
Well,
Oh. Alyssa, what's one thing that you want to do this year that you didn't do last year?
I guess real practically, I really want to finish reading the Bible this
Yo.
year, the whole Bible, especially just being a Christian and a youth leader. I want to be properly in my word
Yo.
That's good.
and also graduate my undergrad of university.
Oh.
So fingers crossed that I pass this year. Oh my gosh.
Let's go. Let's go.
you will.
That's
You will.
good.
Jesus name.
Keep accountable to that one.
To you for that one.
Yeah. So Alyssa,
What's up?
now jumping straight into the more serious questions.
I'm nervous.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm nervous.
So, the reason why, you're obviously here is because you've chased greatness yourself. You have a story to tell. And back in 2011, you went through a rough season.
Yeah.
Explain to us or tell the story to us and the audience, what you went through.
I guess if anyone were to ask me like what's the hardest year of my life, it would definitely be 2011. Mainly, so back in 2011, even a bit previous to that, I don't even know where to start. No.
No, you're good.
Okay, so 2011, yeah, definitely the hardest year of my life, but definitely wouldn't change it for anything. So at the beginning of the year, I just remember. Okay, so context, I come from a family where my mom and dad separated when I was quite young.
Yep.
So growing up, it was always me and my mom, and then I grew up with my aunties and uncles and my grandparents, right?
Yep.
And so in 2011, at the beginning of the year, my mom was like going to a lot of doctor's appointments for like
Yep.
certain issues, and I didn't really know what was going on. And then I remember so 2011, I was also starting high school, and I remember at the beginning of the term, my mom was like, all of a sudden, she has to go to Mexico for treatment or whatever she was going through,
Yep.
in order to get better. And like this was so sudden. And like
Yep.
I was 12 at the time, and in my like whole life, I've never been separated from her for that long.
So you were like confused. You were like,
Yeah,
what
right.
the heck is happening?
Like imagine you're 12, you're starting year 7, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden your mom's like, "Oh, I've got to go to America for treatment."
Yo.
And I'm like,
crazy.
"Yo," And so then I went through like the first term of high school, and then I got to visit my mom in America, and like that was like the most like bittersweet like reunion because it was like I haven't seen her in so long. But then I remember my cousin taking me out for dinner, and my cousin was with my mom during her treatment, and then we went out for dinner and she sat me down and she was like, do you know what your mom has? And I was like, no. And she's like, she has a tumor in her pancreas, and obviously heaps of thoughts are rushing in my head, and I was like, does that mean she has cancer? And so in 2011 she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and then it was this huge, crazy journey of 6 months of a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
And then, really sadly, in August of the same year, she passed away.
Yeah.
And it was, the biggest storm to hit me, because it was pretty much like not just losing my closest parent, but like my guardian, my best friend, and it was crazy. Like I would never have seen it as a 12-year-old, but
she's obviously in a better place now.
Yes.
With the Lord and Savior.
I rest in that hope. Day by day.
Which is so good.
So.
But yeah, obviously she sounded like someone you looked up to.
100%.
Like, explain to us how her character was and how she played a massive role in your life.
Oh man, it's like where to start, right? So already like being a single mother, it's crazy, right? Like when I was a kid, I thought that this was normal, that like kids usually don't live with their parents, that they're usually separated. And so people would usually ask me like, oh, don't you feel lonely as an only child, or isn't it different because you don't live with your dad? But to be honest, like my mom was such a strong woman that even if I didn't have like a normal childhood, I felt so happy anyways. Like I felt like I got everything that a normal kid would need nonetheless, right? So I guess, my mom's strength is like number one, the most inspirational thing about her, because it was like, even before she got sick, she was already such a fighter, like going through, imagine going through like a separation or divorce with a young child, and like what you'd have to endure to get through that. And then even when she did get diagnosed, like there was never a day that I didn't see her like fighting or like pressing through or like just battling through everything she was going through. And through it all, she would always be like, we're gonna get through this. And she always like carried herself with joy and with such elegance. And I also love that my mom was such a loyal friend, like to this day. So 2011 to now, that's like 9 years. The friends that my mom did have are still friends with my family now.
So good.
And that like speaks into a testament of not just like who she was to them, but just the loyalty of her friendship. And I like, it's so beautiful to me, because I'm like, wow, I hope to be that kind of friend to other people. And also just how she loved to have fun. Like she was a bit of a quiet person, but like when she when she got fun, like when she went out, seriously, like that was my mom. Like I would remember like Friday nights she would have girls' night, and she would go out,
party,
legit, and then come back like at night with like a kebab from the like club or like out with the girls. And I'm like, mom like knew how to have fun. And then the next day she'd take me straight to like karate or something. But
karate, you didn't tell us that.
Icebreaker questions, didn't ask me any of that.
You show us.
Now you know.
I did karate.
Show us later.
Demo later. Oh gosh. So much to be inspired by.
That's so good.
So good.
So Alyssa, how was the process of grieving, and how did you deal with that whole kind of season that you went through?
It was tough, obviously, like being so young, but also something so significant happening. Firstly, it was like family support that got me through, like during that time. So my family grew up Christian, but it's like we all kind of went different churches. Like some of my family went to a Christian church, others Catholic church, etc., etc. And or like sometimes we wouldn't really go to church at all. But in this time, like my family's like never prayed together so much, and like just been united by faith so much. So I think
everyone together.
Honestly, it was like you truly see in tragedy like what it does to people, and really like brought us together. So my family for sure. And like to this day, it's like I wouldn't be like where I am in the sense of like school or like work or whatever if it weren't for like my mom's family like really being around myself. And also my faith. So like growing up, it was one of those where it's like I'd know the stories of the Bible, know about God, but it wouldn't really like pay attention to it. But it wasn't until year 7, it's kind of crazy, like 2011 is where it all happened. It wasn't until then where I started to go to a youth group, to YD, and started to really discover my faith, and not just like know about Jesus, but have a relationship with him. And I think it was that where it's like God's timing really brought it together, because
propelled you. And
because honestly, like, if I didn't have my faith, or if I didn't know who Jesus was, I think about it and I'm like, I would probably be crazy. Like, I would probably be such a different person. Like, I wouldn't have joy in living life. And so those are the two things, family and faith, that really got me through such a like crazy season.
Wow. So good.
Would you like to give like anyone a special mention, or looking back at that time, would you like to mention any names or give a shout out?
I guess so like my tita Yvette, tito Bernie, mami Tina, tito Ray and Brian. Oh my gosh, that's like my main family. Honestly, they were like the parents that I never had in that time. And I love that, like, even when my mom passed away, they kept her promise to her, where they were like, we will take care of Alyssa. Like, we will make sure that she is properly loved and well taken care of. And to this day, like, they live up to that promise.
So good.
And I think each and every youth leader that invested in me, like, they know who they are. From like the car rides, seriously, from the car rides back home from youth, or like the lifts to church, or even just the fact that I remember the funeral. I think you were there. The funeral, like, so many YD people came, and it's like, that was my first year properly being in church. And the fact that so many people turned up like that, and like, it wasn't out of like they felt sorry for me, but it was like genuine support and love. And I think it was at that moment where I was like, wow, like, this is my second family. So to all of those people who really invested and even prayed with me, thank you.
So good.
Treasure in the tragedy.
That's a good one.
That's good.
Wow.
Hashtag
Twitter that, please.
treasure in the tragedy.
MySpace.
Man, smart.
Oh my gosh.
And side note, for those who don't know what tita is and tito,
true.
it means uncle and auntie in
Tito.
In Tagalog, in Filipino.
Which is,
in Tagalog.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're gonna hear that a lot.
Obviously, have reference God, church, and you mentioned you were a Christian earlier. Could you go in depth with that? Like, how's attending church and attending youth made you a better person,
or walking with God?
So as I said, growing up, I was actually Catholic growing up, and it was good in the sense of like really being exposed to God and Jesus and like the Bible. But I guess when I started going to FCF church, so Christian church, and to YD, like a youth group, that's when the idea of God wasn't just like, he wasn't just a story or like far away, but he was personal and was real. And I think like even just hearing of God as a heavenly father, like that already like fulfilled something in me, not having grown up with my dad. And then just as I got to know Jesus even more, I say it like time and time again, like knowing Jesus in this tragedy was like the greatest source of hope I could ever find. Like a lot of people are like, aren't you angry at God for like like for your mom being sick, or like don't you ever blame God? But honestly, like as much as like I could go down that route, I think no, because it's like because of Jesus and the hope that I found in him, like I'm able to have joy even though I went through that. I'm able to like still enjoy my life and pursue purpose. And so like even when I go through things now, I still think of it and I'm like, there's nothing else in this world that I found as like the firmest source of hope or like the most secure, real hope. And that's what's sustained me and has like made me continue pursuing greatness.
So good.
Did I answer the question? I have no idea. I was like, halfway through, I was like, what's the question again?
No, that is actually so good. Like, you definitely answered the question.
Praise Jesus.
So,
you spectacularly answered the question. That's so good. For all the people who are kind of experiencing the same thing, what's one thing you could say to them or encourage them that they can take home?
About the process of grieving and everything like that.
Okay, one thing, but I'm gonna say multiple things. But number one is surround yourself with good people. I think that like, no matter what life throws at you or what you're going through, when you're surrounded with good people and just people in general, you know that you're not going through it alone. Yeah. So just, surround yourself with people who genuinely love you and who are there to like hold your hand in the battle. And I think number two, very nice. Number two, it's not about how hard or how chaotic the situation is. It's truly about how you personally bounce back from it. With it. Because I think like, you can...
Fight or flight.
Yeah, honestly, like you can throw a tragedy at someone, but what really speaks to their character is how they get back up from that. It's like...
It's good. It's crazy.
You can go through the ugliest thing, but the way that you like rise again from that is what's more beautiful than whatever has happened to you.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and...
I'm gonna write a book.
Oh, please. And my last one, if you have personally experienced like someone really close to you passing away, be encouraged that you get to live their legacy. I think what's been the hardest, I'm like tearing up.
That just struck me so good.
I think what's been the hardest lesson to learn, but also the most rewarding, is that even though my mom isn't with me now, and even though I'm growing up without a mother, I am encouraged that I get to live the legacy that she left behind. So I get to be the face of generosity, of strength, of fun, of bravery that she was to other people. And I think that if you just live out who they were to others, at least they get to see a glimpse of who that person was. Because time and time again, every time I tell these people my story, everyone's like, man, I wish I met your mom. But then in my head, I'm kind of like, I hope that I am beautifully representing who she was and making her proud. So I think those are the top three things. And keep your head up. Honestly, there's hope. The best is yet to come.
Woo!
Yeah.
Banger, man, bangers.
Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us for the first episode for Chasing Greatness.
Thank you for having me.
2020.
Thank you.
That's it. If like, honestly, if there's any way that you can contact me, I don't know, anyway.
Facebook, Bebo, MySpace.
But honestly, like, if anyone is going through a similar situation or just like needs to talk to someone who gets it, just contact me in any way. I'm like happy to talk to anyone or like be there for someone. Sometimes it's just like someone being there for you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I'm there for you, got you.
Yeah.
Well, that is a wrap for Chasing Greatness. We want to just thank you and honor you, Alyssa, for joining our set, for joining Chasing Greatness. And let's go.
Thanks, guys.
You.